All right. So, I'm a huge soccer fan, and it seems like everybody else is too these days.
Yeah.
But what if we could take our love of the game to a whole new level?
Mm.
I'm talking about AI that can actually watch a match, understand all the crazy moves, and even commentate on the plays just like a human announcer would.
Yeah, that sounds pretty wild, right?
Yeah.
And it's exactly what this research paper towards universal soccer video understanding is all about.
Right.
They've created this AI model called MatchVision that's really pushing the boundaries of what's possible in sports analysis.
This paper had me hooked from the first page. And
Terrific.
today we're going to break it all down for you, focusing on how MatchVision works and the mountain of data it's trained on. Buckle up, because things are about to get really interesting.
So imagine an AI that can see a player make a run, anticipate a pass, and even tell you whether that last tackle was a yellow card offense.
Yeah, that's right. And it's mind-blowing because soccer is such a fluid and complex sport. To actually understand it, the AI needs to recognize so much. The players, their positions, the ball, different events like goals, fouls off sides. It's like a constant puzzle that's changing every second.
Exactly. And that's why the researchers decided to build this massive data set called Soccer Replay 1988.
Okay, before you go any further, I need you to explain this data set to me.
Okay.
It's huge, right?
It's massive. Picture this. They've got 1,988 complete matches covering 6 major European leagues and championships. From 2014-15 all the way to the current 2023-24 season.
Wow.
We're talking over 3,300 hours of game footage.
3,300 hours. I mean, it'd take me months to watch that much soccer.
Right, and the data set isn't just video.
Okay.
It also includes labels for every single event that happens on the field. Right.
Okay.
Passes, shots, tackles, you name it.
Yeah.
They've even got the textual commentaries with timestamps and background info on the teams and players. It's like the ultimate soccer encyclopedia.
Okay, so I have to ask.
Yeah.
How in the world did they create a data set this massive? Did they hire 1,000 interns to watch and label everything?
That's where it gets really clever. They actually used AI to help build the data set itself.
Whoa.
They have this automated system that does it all. It synchronizes the video with the commentaries, analyzes the text to label the events, and even anonymizes the player and team names for privacy.
So AI is helping to create the data that will then train other AI models. It's AI all the way down.
Exactly. And this is a game changer for future research. Now they can potentially create even bigger data sets and really push the boundaries of what AI can learn about the beautiful game.
This is fascinating. You mentioned MatchVision earlier. That's the AI model at the heart of all this, right?
That's right. MatchVision is what's called a foundation model. Think of it like this. It's a master chef who's learned all the basic cooking techniques and can now create any dish you can imagine.
Okay.
In this case, MatchVision has learned the fundamentals of soccer by being trained on this massive soccer play data set.
So it's like they've built this powerful AI engine that can then be adapted to do different soccer-related tasks.
Precisely. And the paper focuses on 3 specific skills they've trained MatchVision to do: event classification, commentary generation, and foul recognition. Each of these has the potential to revolutionize how we experience and analyze the game.
I'm definitely sensing a "but how" coming on. So how does this MatchVision actually work?
Well, it's pretty complex under the hood, but we can break it down.
Okay.
First, it takes each frame of the video and breaks it down into smaller chunks. Imagine the AI breaking down each frame into smaller pieces, like a puzzle. Each piece is a token, and the AI assigns it a code which allows it to understand what's happening. This is called token embedding.
Got it. So the AI isn't just seeing a blur of motion, it's analyzing each frame in detail. But how does it understand how all those individual moments connect to form the flow of a match?
That's where the spatiotemporal attention block comes in. Think about it like this. When you're watching a match, you're not just focusing on one player or one spot on the field.
Right.
You're constantly shifting your attention, tracking the ball, watching for runs, anticipating passes.
Right. It's like your brain is building a story of what's happening on the field.
Exactly. And that's what this spatiotemporal attention block allows MatchVision to do.
Yeah.
It learns to connect the dots, to understand not just what's happening in each frame, but how events unfold over time. It's like the AI is developing its own sense of soccer intuition.
That's incredible. It's like the AI is watching the match with the same level of understanding as a seasoned fan or even a coach.
Right.
So it's breaking down the video, understanding the sequence of events. What happens to all that information?
Well, all that information gets combined and condensed in what they call the aggregation layer.
Okay.
This gives the AI a comprehensive representation of what's happened in a segment of the match. And that's what it uses to perform those 3 tasks we talked about: event classification, commentary generation, and foul recognition.
Okay, I'm ready to dive into those tasks. First up, let's talk about this event classification. What kind of events can MatchVision actually identify?
Well, they trained it on 24 different event types, things like goals, corner kicks, penalties, yellow cards, substitutions, and even offsides.
Wow.
It's like having an AI assistant referee constantly analyzing the action.
So how accurate is this AI referee? Can it keep up with all the fast-paced action and make the right calls?
They tested MatchVision on a really challenging data set called Soccer Replay Test, which includes matches from both Soccer Replay 1988 and another data set called SoccerNet.
Okay.
And guess what? It achieved state-of-the-art performance in event classification.
So it's basically a digital VAR constantly analyzing every play. That's wild.
It definitely points to the potential for AI to assist referees in making those tough calls, especially in real time. But it's not just about officiating. Think about how this technology could be used by coaches to break down their team's performance, or by broadcasters to give viewers more insights during a match.
All right, I'm hooked. What about this commentary generation? Can this AI really talk about the game like a human commentator? It's like, is it going to replace human commentators entirely?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Human commentators bring a lot to the table. Their passion, their insights, their ability to connect with the audience. But MatchVision can definitely add a whole new dimension to sports commentary.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Remember how we talked about how much richer and more detailed its commentary became after being trained on both the Match Time and Soccer Replay 1988 datasets? Well, that's because it was able to learn from a wider range of examples and really develop a deeper understanding of how to describe the game.
So it's more than just spitting out basic facts like player A passed to player B.
Yeah.
It can actually weave a narrative, build suspense, maybe even crack a joke or two?
Well, maybe not the jokes just yet,
Okay.
but it can definitely provide more context and color to the action. Imagine the AI highlighting tactical decisions, predicting player movements, or even explaining the rules of the game for viewers who might be new to soccer. It's like having a personal tutor right there with you.
Yeah. I can see it now, watching a match with an AI commentator, giving me a constant stream of insights and analysis. It'd be like having access to a team of expert analysts right in my living room. But beyond the fan experience, I'm curious about how this technology could actually impact the game itself. Like, what are we talking about?
Well, for starters, think about player development. What if coaches could use MatchVision to create personalized training programs for each player, focusing on their specific strengths and weaknesses?
That's a fantastic idea. And what about injury prevention? Could AI analyze player movements to identify patterns that might lead to injuries before they even happen?
Absolutely. And imagine using AI to scout potential talent from all over the world, sifting through hours of footage to identify players with unique skills and abilities.
Wow, we're really getting into the future of soccer here. But before we get too carried away, I want to bring us back to this paper for a moment. What's the one thing that you think our listeners should absolutely take away from this research?
I think what's fascinating here is that it's not just about creating a cool AI that can analyze soccer. It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI in general.
Right.
We're talking about creating a system that can understand complex, dynamic situations, make judgments, and communicate its findings in a way that's meaningful to humans. And those skills are applicable to so many fields beyond sports.
So this isn't just a win for soccer fans. It's a win for anyone who's excited about the potential of AI to solve problems and make our lives better. But before we wrap up part one of our deep dive, I have to ask, did anything in the paper surprise you?
Well, one thing that really caught my attention was
All right, we're back for part two of our deep dive into MatchVision and the future of AI in soccer. And trust me, you don't want to miss this. We talked about the massive data set it's trained on and how it actually works, but now it's time to explore the real-world applications of this technology. Like, where can we actually use this thing?
Yeah, this is where things get really exciting. Yeah. You've probably seen those moments in a game where a ref makes a call that sparks debate for days. Right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, imagine if AI could help take some of the guesswork out of those crucial decisions.
Okay, you've piqued my curiosity. Where do we even begin?
But remember, those three key tasks MatchVision is trained for. Let's start with foul recognition.
You mean the AI can actually spot fouls and assess their severity? It's like VAR, but on a whole new level?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And remember that every foul data set we talked about earlier? The one with all the multi-angle footage of controversial plays?
Yeah.
Well, they tested MatchVision on that. And the results were pretty remarkable.
Do tell, I'm all ears.
Okay, so the AI could not only accurately identify whether a foul occurred, but it could also classify the type of foul, like a trip, a push, or a reckless tackle. And get this, It could even assess the severity of the foul, indicating whether it warranted a yellow card, a red card, or maybe just a warning from the ref.
So it's like having an extra set of eyes on the field, constantly analyzing every play for potential infractions. This could be a game changer, especially when it comes to those really fast-paced, chaotic moments where even the best refs can miss things.
Yeah, and what's really interesting is that MatchVision achieved this level of accuracy without requiring a complete retraining of the model.
Hmm.
That speaks to the versatility of this foundation model approach. You can essentially plug and play different modules to tackle different tasks without having to start from scratch each time.
This is mind-blowing. So AI could potentially help reduce those controversial calls and make the game fairer. I'm starting to see why everyone is so excited about this. But what about the other side of the coin, the offensive side of the game? That's where event classification comes in, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Imagine an AI that can track every pass shot and tackle with pinpoint accuracy, giving you real-time insights into the flow of the game. That's what MatchVision is capable of.
Okay.
It's like having a stats guru constantly crunching numbers and whispering insights in your ear.
So if I'm understanding this correctly, it's not just about identifying whether an event happened, but also understanding its significance within the broader context of the match. Like, is that pass just a simple back pass, or is it a key pass that unlocks the defense and creates a scoring opportunity?
Exactly. And remember, we're talking about 24 different event types that MatchVision can identify. From goals and corner kicks to substitutions and offsides, it's got the whole game covered.
Wow.
And what's really impressive is that they tested it on that soccer replay test dataset, which includes a mix of matches and scenarios. And MatchVision consistently outperformed other AI models in event classification accuracy.
So this isn't just some theoretical concept, it's actually delivering results.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And what's really exciting is that these insights can be used in so many ways. Think about coaches using this data to analyze their team's strengths and weaknesses, to identify tactical patterns, or to scout opponents.
It's like giving every team their own supercomputer analyst.
Right. And imagine broadcasters using this technology to enhance their coverage, providing viewers with real-time stats and analysis that goes beyond what any human commentator could keep track of. Or imagine using it to create personalized highlights for fans based on their favorite players or teams.
You're blowing my mind here. Now, I love a good play-by-play commentary. Can MatchVision actually generate those? Like, is it going to replace human commentators entirely?
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
Human commentators bring a lot to the table. Their passion, their insights, their ability to connect with the audience. But MatchVision can definitely add a whole new dimension to sports commentary.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
All right, remember how we talked about how much richer and more detailed its commentary became after being trained on both the Match Time and Soccer Replay 1988 data sets?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's because it was able to learn from a wider range of examples and really develop a deeper understanding of how to describe the game.
So it's more than just spitting out basic facts like player A, pass to player B. It can actually weave a narrative, build suspense, maybe even crack a joke or two.
Well, maybe not the jokes just yet,
Uh-huh.
but it can definitely provide more context and color to the action. Imagine the AI highlighting tactical decisions, predicting player movements, or even explaining the rules of the game for viewers who might be new to soccer.
Yeah.
It's like having a personal tutor right there with you.
I can see it now watching a match with an AI commentator giving me a constant stream of insights and analysis. It'd be like having access to a team of expert analysts right in my living room. But beyond the fan experience, I'm curious about how this technology could actually impact the game itself. What do we think?
Well, for starters, think about player development. What if coaches could use MatchVision to create personalized training programs for each player focusing on their specific strengths and weaknesses?
That's a fantastic idea. And what about injury prevention? Could AI analyze player movements to identify patterns that might lead to injuries before they even happen?
Absolutely. Imagine using AI to scout potential talent from all over the world, sifting through hours of footage to identify players with unique skills and abilities.
Wow, we're really getting into the future of soccer here. But before we get too carried away, I want to bring us back to this paper for a moment. What's the one thing that you think our listeners should absolutely take away from this research?
For me, I think what's most fascinating here is that it's not just about creating a cool AI that can analyze soccer.
Yeah.
It's about pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI in general.
Okay.
We're talking about creating a system that can understand complex dynamic situations, make judgments, and communicate its findings in a way that's meaningful to humans. And those skills are applicable to so many fields beyond sports.
So this isn't just a win for soccer fans. It's a win for anyone who's excited about the potential of AI to solve problems and make our lives better. But before we wrap up part 2 of our deep dive, I have to ask, did anything in the paper surprise you?
One thing that really caught my attention was,
We're back for the final part of our deep dive into MatchVision, and let me tell you, my brain is buzzing with all the possibilities.
yeah, it's been a wild ride, right?
From dissecting this AI model to exploring its potential impact on, like, everything. From referee decisions to player development, it's incredible.
It is.
But you left us hanging at the end of part 2, though.
Oh, did I?
You mentioned something in the paper that surprised you. What was it?
Oh, yeah. Well, one thing that stood out to me was how the researchers tackled this challenge of bias in the data set. They were very aware that, like, if the AI is trained on data that reflects existing biases in the game, it could perpetuate those biases in its analysis.
That's a great point. We've seen this happen in other areas of AI, right?
Oh, for sure.
Where biased data leads to biased outcomes. It's like that old saying, garbage in, garbage out. Only in this case, it's more like bias in, bias out.
Exactly. And in this paper, the researchers were very proactive in addressing this issue.
Okay.
So, for example, they made sure to include matches from a variety of leagues and championships, to ensure diversity in playing styles and tactics.
Right. Makes sense.
They also anonymized the data to remove any identifying information about players or teams, which helps to mitigate potential biases related to race or nationality.
So they were really careful to create a data set that's as balanced and representative as possible. That's encouraging to hear because it shows that they're not just focused on building a cool AI, but also on building an ethical AI.
Absolutely. And they even discussed the importance of ongoing monitoring and evaluation to ensure that MatchVision's analysis remains fair and unbiased as it continues to learn and evolve.
Right.
It's clear that they recognize the responsibility that comes with developing such a powerful technology.
That's fantastic. It's easy to get caught up in the excitement of all this.
Oh, yeah.
But it's crucial to remember that AI is a tool, and like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us humans to guide its development and ensure that it's used responsibly.
I completely agree. And I think this research is a great example of how to approach AI development in a thoughtful and ethical way. It's not just about pushing the technological boundaries. It's also about considering the potential impact on society and taking steps to mitigate any negative consequences.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
We've explored how MatchVision works, delved into its potential applications, and even touched on the ethical considerations surrounding AI development. But I want to leave our listener with something to ponder. What's the one big question that this research raises for you?
That's a good question. I think the biggest question for me is this. How will AI fundamentally change the way we experience and interact with sports in the future? Will it enhance our enjoyment of the game, or will it somehow diminish the human element that makes sports so compelling?
That's a great question. And it's one that doesn't have an easy answer.
Nope.
I think it's going to be a fascinating journey as we navigate this new era of AI-powered sports.
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe someday we'll look back at this research as a pivotal moment when AI truly began to understand and appreciate the beauty and complexity of the beautiful game.
I think that's definitely a possibility.
Yeah.
One thing's for sure. We're just at the beginning of this incredible journey, and I can't wait to see where it takes us.
Well said. And to our listener, we encourage you to continue exploring this topic on your own. We've only scratched the surface here, but there's a whole world of fascinating research and insights out there waiting to be discovered.
Yeah, and if you're interested in learning more about MatchVision and the Unisoccer project, be sure to check out the website. We'll include a link in the show notes.
Until next time, keep diving deep and keep exploring the frontiers of knowledge.